So we got Malakai Black and Cody Rhodes 3. I'll just tell you what, in the building, it was like, yo, this is Malakai Black country. Cody came out here. We let the booze out. Like somebody let the dogs out back in the day. I got the first Cody sucks chant you guys heard, like, came directly from me and Josh.
Oh
like,
my god!
And the whole arena took off on that shit, and it was quite a proud moment. But all in all, I thought it was a hell of a match. It was a lot going on. So at one point I did turn to Dan. I was like, look, you see everything that's going on right now? We're not watching Cody. We're watching motherfuckers brawl on the apron. We're watching Arn Anderson in the ring. We're watching all this other shit that has nothing to do with Cody. But like,
nothing to do with the match.
Right. And then I was like, man, it's so loud. People are so into this. I was like, wow, it feels like pro wrestling. Like that was like the default feeling I had watching it. And it was like, it felt like a really big match. And then like, it was like, shit. And then we were all rooting against this one dude, and then he fucking won. And it was like, fuck that asshole.
So they started the match.
I was also gonna say,
okay,
my fault. They like, I don't know if the reaction in the building necessarily was the one that I was seeing online, because I thought online people were way negative on it than they were in the building, because it was like,
on the match or on the result.
Both. Like people were really negative on the result, and then like I feel like in the building, like we were like, people were booing or whatever in the match, like, oh, okay, like just fuck this guy, we don't want him to win. But it wasn't like some, hey, there's a colossal disaster happening. Like I didn't get that at all. I
obviously, the internet is hyperbolic, so I don't think it's the end of the world. And maybe I'm being more measured now that I have days past on this, but or maybe it's because I checked out like once the run-in started, and I was like, I don't even care about this match, because I was like, what the fuck? I just want to see someone. I just want to see two people that have fought each other for a bunch of times. I just saw this fucking training montage of shit of this dude wanting to figure out a way and get the hunger to fight this dude, and then all of a sudden there's like 40 motherfuckers coming out to get in the way of the match. What kind of story are you telling me with this bullshit?
There's all these chairs, Brock Anderson, Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
Arn was in the ring seemingly for so long.
The ref trying to get him out the ring while those two are both on the floor. And it's like, what the fuck is this? So for me, like, they're like the beginning, like the part that really pissed me off and why I checked out the match, because like, I was so into this third match, and I had taught myself, and this is probably my fault, or this is my fault for talking myself into a Cody match not having bullshit in it, but like they had that first match, like for a sub 5-minute match, was just excellent. It told an excellent story of this guy is just too much for Cody, and Cody is like, even like not, his territory ass is throwing elbows or forearms to try to match with this dude, and like he gets his leg taken from him, or beaten down, and then a busted wheel, and then he like works on the leg, and then like Cody gets desperate and goes to the top rope, and then he hits one of V-trigger, and he falls off the top rope into the table at ringside, and then he comes in the ring, eats a black mass, and he's out he could count to 100, and he was out, and he puts a foot on his chest and pins him. Then the second match, hits with the kick, and he falls out the ring, so he survives because he ended up rolling out the ring from getting kicked so hard. And then by the end, there's run-ins there's shit with Arn and with Brandy, but he ends up hitting with the miss and rolling him up. So this match happens, and like they're starting and they're wrestling their asses off, and I'm just like, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted the first match to be, but I ended up getting a short version of it, and I thought this is what the second match was going to be. I'm getting what I thought the second match was going to be, and then they ended up outside. Because a table got set up by Malakai, and they ended up doing a crossroads, and like
which is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
You know what? Like, look, for me, like, I can suspend my disbelief for the wrestling logic that even though Cody is absolutely cushioning Malakai's fall on that bump, like the move is meant to be that it's Malakai taking it, but it didn't look good. And like no part of Malakai even took it. So I was like, I get it, but it looked bad. Whatever. And then he gets up blading. I was like, why do you need a blade? Why do you need a blade? And then Cody charges at him and he ducks it and then he hits the post. I'm like, double juice. God damn it. Him and want to be his dad, and they're in Florida, so of course it's a fucking, outside the ring brawl and double juice, of course. It's fucking Florida. It's Florida Championship Wrestling. And then all of a sudden the camera cuts away and you're just like, people running out, and it's like, of course, this gives time for Cody to blade. Next camera shot you get, crimson, or forehead red. I'm like, God damn it. So,
what's Cody Rhodes' blood percentage in his matches in AEW? I would love
it's a lot
for someone to discover this.
He does it. It seems
like if it was like a batting average or something, right?
Singles matches, you mean?
Yeah, in any matches.
I mean, it's got to be like something like somewhere between like 30% and 40%. It seems.
Like that's the stat I want to see. Like they talked about this is going to be a company built on stats. What the fuck is Cody Rhodes' blood percentage?
Wow. He's even had one where like he didn't mean to, like that Jericho match. He didn't mean to blade. Like his head just hit the ramp.
Karma. Oh, you want to bleed, huh?
And I'm not even gonna count like the one where like the squash, the first Malakai Black where he bleeds a little bit because he gets on the ridge of his nose. Like I'm not even gonna count. I'm talking about like actually like where he pulled out he pulled out something to cut himself. It's cut his forehead. But then Andrade comes out. Then Pat comes out. The Rhodes family, like Lee Johnson and Brock that Malakai is beating, they come out and all of a sudden Malakai ends up back in the ring and he ends up blowing the mist on Arn because Arn's ass in the ring for no fucking reason, and and then like the crowd, Arn's in the ring and he points the gun and the crowd's chanting get the Glock.
Yeah,
and I was just like, by that point I was so disgusted. I basically was like, went in the autopilot, like one of them games where like the bronze shooters have missed every one of them three, and he's like, I'm not passing the ball over to Jay Crowder or fucking again the rest of this game. I'm done. Like I was just in that mode, like I'm through. I'm over it. And then like I'm watching it, and it's like they got back in the ring and they were doing stuff. I was like, that looks good. And then then after we talked about the story of like overcoming all this stuff, of how he's going to overcome. Cody, this person's like just a different level to him at this point, and how he's going to reach it. Alex Racing with that black mask has laid him out the first two matches, and he gets caught on the ropes. And then like it's a little struggle to get him off the ropes to go pin him, but Cody gets right up and fight him right back, and then ends up hitting him I think hits his finisher twice, and then pins him. It's like. And then I heard later that like they were rushed for time, and it's like, I'm sorry, bro. Like you mean to tell me y'all built towards this for like basically 3 or 4 months, and like y'all didn't have this timed out? Nah, man. Like I'm sorry. Like y'all had a great match going. Y'all decided to put this bullshit in there. I tuned out. Like maybe it got good again or whatever else, but like I was so over it. So like I can't give it a rating or whatever else. But like I'm not. It was still a good match, but it's not something I'm going to ever want to go back to watch. I'm just done with it.
It feels hollow for me, like, right? Like, like I said, everyone in the building was into the match. I was into the match.
I don't even have a problem with Cody winning the match. Like, after you do the third match, you're basically telegraphing that Cody's going to win. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you told y'all, or Cody fashioned himself this fucking storyteller. What story did you tell? You undid everything. You did everything you worked towards for 3-4 fucking months in the last match.
I was gonna say, like, this was supposed to be something about, hey, you were either overconfident or you had gone soft or something happened.
Yeah,
that led to that first.
Too civilized. The fighter, right. The commercial guy has taken place of the fighter. Yeah,
I'm like, well, where was that fucking journey? Like how did you get better? Like in your preparation for Malakai Black? Like, I'm sorry, a couple jobbers slapping you in the room in in your brother's gym, like, it's not enough. Like, it feels like ironically they were trying to show us, right? But like it didn't tell me anything. Like it was just like a segment that was there. Like there was no like sense of like, hey, like how did Aleister or Malakai Black suddenly get like weaker than he was the last couple matches? Mm-hmm. Like there's no the Russian is cut moment where Cody has his chance or whatever. Like it wasn't. It was like they wanted to tell you the story, but like the ingredients that they're using, like we ain't quite got all the stuff that needs to actually go in the gumbo. So we're just gonna throw even more stuff in there, and it might not be the real gumbo, but it's interesting, it's unique. But like it wasn't enough for me when you examine it with like a fine-tooth comb. And maybe I'm not giving Cody the rope that I would give someone else in this position, but we already talked about what a lot of Cody's matches descend into, where it's just like fucking, it's absolute chaos and like all these moments.
I can understand if I don't have a problem with the run-ins and all the nonsense if it actually like helped tell the story of what they were going for over the past 3-4 months. It did not. It actually flew in the face of what they were trying to do. Like Cody did not overcome. Cody did not like demonstrate himself to have changed to overcome or what was upon him, the task at hand. He just no-sold the fuck, or he more or less look seemingly no-sold the shit that laid to put his ass down for the count like twice. Because they were up against it for time, so they had to make it. They had to do that, which is like, all right, like I don't know what needs to be. Maybe, hey, how about you don't beat up Jungle Boy this week? Give him 2 more fucking minutes to be able to figure out whatever story they're trying to tell. But like, there's been a lot of this in Cody's matches where like he will get hit with something that you should quote unquote sell, or it should be like the turn point for a match into the opposition's favor to get momentum in the match, and like he'll just no sell on a dime and then like win within 90 seconds. Like he did it with Kingston and did Kingston's first match. He fucking dropped him on glass, and then his hand is raised less than 2 minutes later. What? Pentagon early in the year when he did the fucking arm break spot, and he won like within 90 seconds after that. And then this, and it's like, who taught you this, and who convinced you that this was like interesting or fun or like makes your matches better? Because it doesn't.
He wants to be John Cena. Like, I think that's just what it comes down to. He wants this feeling of like things aren't quite right, like the alignments aren't right. He wants to do the movies, he wants to do the charity stuff, and like, I don't know, man.
Cool.
Like,
tell better stories. Like, I don't care if you want to do that shit. Look, man, if you want to put
like he's literally put himself in opposition of like the alignment. Like it's like he's I don't know, man. It's exhausting, bro. Like
I've been saying that for months that it's exhausting.
I'm sorry. Like I thought AEW was like the clearest promotion where it would be like, all right, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. Like this good guy this wannabe good guy who
I don't even say wannabe. I don't even want to say wannabe. He is a good guy. People are just sick of him.
And then it's like they're pushing him and not acknowledging that.
In life, I'm sorry, there are a number of nice people that you've met in life that are harmless or whatever else that you just like, hey, want no parts to do with them or want nothing to do with them, or they annoy me. And like Cody right now is in that mode where it's like he does and says the right things. I just don't care for him at this moment. And like I think that's perfectly fine. I don't mean any ill will towards him. I didn't think, like I said, like this match disgusted me, but like I would not say it was a bad match at all. I would say it was a good match, but it disgusted me like they decided to do that shit in the middle of the match. It was just like, when are you ever going to get to the match where we actually find out who the better person is? Like
we still haven't found it.
No, we found out who the better man was in the first fucking match. We keep getting further and further away from actual rule of slice and finishes now. The second match was he missed him and then beat him on a roll. Now we have someone no-selling some shit after people ran in a million places. The match has been thrown out because the fucking manager's in the ring. Like I'm just over it, man.
But we know that those squash matches are like a gimmick and a trope. Right. That he does. So we still don't even have like a definitive like, hey, they went 17 minutes and this person got his hand raised, with a clean win. We don't have that.
Right. And it's annoying because it's like, I never want to see them wrestle each other again.
Bro, like, people ask me if I want to see Cody Rhodes versus Kenny. No. Like,
and then, like, I don't know how much of this stuff is actually a legitimate thing where you talk about I'll never turn heel, I'll retire before I turn heel. It's like, hey, bro, that's the case, and like, God bless, like, bro, take it to the back.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like, there was a company that had a baby face that was just getting shoved down people's throats that they didn't acknowledge, like, the relationship, like, with the audience and, like, flip that character accordingly, like, the last 15 years in WWE.
Did you watch Rose to the Top, the season
I did
finale?
Not.
A six episode season. Dude, like, it covers the first and second Malakai Black match. And he's talking about how, like, he's getting booed and the crowd is not with him. And then, like, you hear Brandy talk about how, like, the crowd is fickle. And I was like, oh, God. Like, they have like, not Cody, but, like, she has WCW or WWE brain of, like, the fans don't know what
they're like, how did you see this coming?
It's like, no, it's not even that. It's like, Cody understands it. Cody's talking about, like, how, like, he's struggling with everything else. And, like, Brandy's talking about how she wants to come back. When she wants to come back, she wants to come back as a heel. And heels don't work their way from the bottom. They just go straight to the top because everyone thinks I'm evil, so I may as well go to the top. And then Cody is like, look, man, you know, I think people actually genuinely like you, and if you start from the bottom in an earnest way, you'll work your way up. And I'm thinking to myself, like, they're both right and both wrong. Like, one,
like, if they weren't them, that would be the advice.
Like, one, the real thing for Brandy is, and as much as it is, people really don't want to see her in the ring as a worker. That's the real thing. And if they want to see her on TV, she's best suited to be a heel. But no one wants to see her actually wrestle. But then, like, he was talking about his character in Malakai and talked about himself, and he was like, he was aware of, like, what his issues are. Like, he, you know, the crowd isn't into him, but, like, Brandy was describing it as, like, these fans are fickle, and Cody was like, nah, like, there's something that I'm missing, I'm trying to figure it out, and, like, and you see this after the match has happened, you're just like, he never figured it out. And in fact, it's worse than, like, it was 3 months ago. So, yeah, And then, so they also covered Tony Khan, like, they did, they went to the back, and he's talking about how, like, you know, maybe it is time that I do hang it up for a while or whatever else, and he's like, how long? Because, you know, and I was like, don't say nothing, fool, just let him walk. Like, look what he's put on your TV now since he did this. It's like, he took the boot off, whatever else. He's like, maybe, what if I was done for a while? I was like, he
all right.
Back. Yeah, and Tony Khan's like,
you got it.
How long? Yeah, he should have just said, all right, well, you know, just hit me up when you're ready. And then, like, by the time they got done with the second match, he was the New York show. He was like, yeah, you know, he's basically like, you know, a lot of new faces that came in, and you know, I'll be waiting to see those faces. I was like, oh, God damn it,
bro. It's like their whole thing is like how they're gonna have to book him. It was like, remember how they used to book Roman, where it was like, yo, who can we put him in with that the crowd? There's no way in fuck that they would cheer him against, and all those people like are like way lesser.
Right, and none of that stuff actually is like anything you want that should make a AEW card.
Right. So, like, he has serious issues. So we got a bunch of comments.